In today's video, I'm going to talk about how, once you land that podcast interview, how do you prep for the interview so that you get the maximum value out of your participation? So if you have downloaded our Galaxy Guide to Pitching Yourself to Podcasts, if you've purchased the podcast capsule so that you have all of that contact information and you have landed your interviews and now you're starting to freak out as you prep for those, keep watching. I'm Kasey Jones. I am a thought leadership coach and growth strategist for aggressively humble business professionals. I'm also the founder of Our Galaxy, the only Slack community and content resource designed to help you learn how to build an authentic personal brand with impact and become a thought leader in your industry. Okay, so you know that podcast interviews are one of the fastest ways to supercharge your brand. But you've got to make sure that once you land those interviews, you do a great job, you connect with the audience. And so today we're going to talk about how you prep for those interviews. There are 7 key steps that we recommend for all of our clients, and we're going to walk through them one by one. Ready? Here we go. 1, you need to know your audience. Now, hopefully, if you've been doing personal branding work, you know your audience. But what's really important is that oftentimes we get podcast interviews on shows where maybe their audience is just a little bit different than who we're used to talking to. And it's hard to know just by reading the description. So how do you figure out your audience? There's a couple of ways. But the number one thing we really recommend is ask the host. Have them tell you a little bit about their audience so that you can better understand what is going to resonate for them. Number 2, you need to know your goals. So what do you want to get out of this? And what do you want your audience to kind of take away from the interview that you do? You need to really think through, is there a particular product or book or event that you want to promote? What is the thing that after somebody listens to the interview and they're telling somebody about you, what do you want them to say? You need to take some time to outline your goals so you can really nail the interview to get the results that you're looking for. Number 3, you need to define your story. Now, hopefully, if you've been doing personal branding work, you've put in the work to really know how to talk about yourself and how to present yourself to audiences. But podcast interviews are a little bit different. You're going to have the chance to be long-winded and to kind of rattle off a bunch of different things. So it's really important that you kind of craft your story and know how to explain who you are and what you do in what I recommend is about 3 minutes or less. So take some time, sit down, write out your story, and practice it so that you can really nail it in a short period of time. If you don't do it, trust me, I've done this before. You will start to ramble, and before you know it, it's 10 minutes and you're still kind of prattling on about your childhood or high school or something that has nothing to do with the message you're really trying to send. Number 4, you want to think through the most likely questions that your podcast host is going to ask you. So oftentimes hosts will give you these questions in advance, but oftentimes they like to kind of play a little bit more loose with it. So what I really recommend is that you listen to a couple of interviews. Even the best podcast hosts, we tend to ask the same questions over and over again. So just by giving a listen to a couple of episodes, you'll get a pretty good sense of the types of questions they're going to ask and things that you can really prepare for. Number 5, you need to prep your setup. Okay, now, especially in the age of COVID, a lot more podcast hosts are recording video as well. So you want to make sure you test the lighting. You want to make sure you test your camera, your sound in your microphone. You want to make sure you've got a setup that is comfortable, where there's a good looking background behind you, something that is professional, but that you feel comfortable in. Take some time, record a couple of videos of yourself on just using your standard webcam, and watch those back so you can listen to see if there's an echo, see if you can hear yourself, and so that you can tweak anything so that you know you're gonna look and sound your best. Number 6, practice, practice, practice. Now, you don't wanna practice to the point where you sound like a robot, and you also don't want to write out a script and read it when you are giving the interview, because you will wind up sounding like a robot. But you do want to make sure that you've got some standard answers. You know how you want to refer to yourself, the title you want to give, those kinds of things. You want to feel comfortable and confident, and the best way to do that is practice. And if it's your first interview, get a friend or a colleague to kind of mock interview you and go through it so you feel comfortable and confident. And now that leads us to number 7, and in a lot of ways, it's the most important thing. And this is cultivate your confidence, okay? There are certain things that we all can do to sound our most confident, our most energetic. And you need to really think through what makes you sound engaged. What makes you sound like you're having a great time? So I learned early on in my sales career that if I didn't smile while I was talking and I didn't move my hands, I sounded sort of monotone and kind of boring. So I learned really early on that, especially just from my voice, I needed to smile, I needed to talk with my hands. It made me sound more engaged. It made me sound more like myself when I'm confident and happy and having a great time. And it made it easier for the people listening to me to have a good time also. So you want to think, especially for just the audio version of podcasts, if it's someone just listening to the sound of your voice, in some ways you need to over accentuate, you need to over enunciate, you need to kind of dramatize a little bit the things that you're saying so that you sound energetic and you sound really engaging. And it's something a lot of people that are new to podcasting forget. There's lots of podcast hosts that when they first start their podcast, oh my Lord, they are boring. And it's only as they get more practice and they start to realize that they sound really monotone and not that engaged, that they start to pick up the energy. And so if this is your first time coming on as a guest, you wanna practice and you wanna listen to yourself so that you can spot the difference of how do you sound engaged and how do you sound kind of connected. So I know that there's lots of people that they make sure that they are standing when they record podcasts or give interviews because they're more energetic that way. Like I mentioned, for me, it's talking with my hands. Lots of people, it's smiling while they talk. Little things like that. And you want to think through sort of what can you have around you? What can you be looking at that's going to keep you focused, but is also going to keep you really engaged? So you want to make sure that you create an environment for yourself that's going to bring out the very best in you so that you can shine auditorily and visually if they're recording the video. If this video was helpful at all, we are actually working on a brand new course all about going deep into these topics and giving you everything you need to know to prep for an amazing interview so that you can kill it and make a lasting, memorable impression on everybody listening. So click the link in the description, check it out and sign up so that you can absolutely master these interviews and become known as one badass podcast guest. If you got value out of this video, please do us a big favor and click the like button. Tell us in the comments what was the most helpful, or if you have any additional questions, and then hit subscribe so that every time we promote a new video, you get notified and you keep learning along with us. Thanks so much.